It says that I am live. That's what the computer says. Let's see if that actually proves to be true. It looks like it is true. On my screen, I see myself. So that's always a good sign. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this, what will be the new time slot for the next couple months at least. I'll be doing these at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So thank you for being here. What is probably an hour later than what you were going to be. I'll explain a bit once I start the lesson. We'll start in 8 seconds. Welcome to everyone who is here. I think I've done everything that I'm supposed to do. Well, hello and welcome to this English lesson about describing how you feel. As human beings, sometimes we feel happy, sometimes we feel sad. Those are simple descriptions. I'm sure you know those already. In this lesson, I will describe some more advanced but very common ways of describing how you feel. Some of these words will help you describe how you feel physically, whether you're extra tired or whether you're starting to feel sick. Some of them will help you describe how you feel emotionally, whether you're happy or sad. And again, I will teach you some more advanced English vocabulary to describe some of those feelings. So once again, welcome to this English lesson about describing how you feel. I think you'll enjoy it. Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome to the new time slot. If you're wondering why Bob the Canadian is live an hour later than normal, it's because after an entire year of teaching in the morning, I am now going to be teaching in the afternoon for the coming semester, which starts next week, but I actually have just a work day today, so I don't have to go in right away. So for the next couple months at least, until time changes in the spring. Remember, we switched to daylight savings time here in Canada. 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time will be the time slot for these live lessons. And this lesson is live. Like I can say hi to Mohammed, Unabi, Hug, Artitis, Mode Eggs is here. Good to see you, Mode. Christian, Burgett, DNK, Clive is here. Haven't seen Clive for a while. Good to see you, Clive. Freddie, Kim. Mode says January is almost over. That's true. Yes. It goes quickly. MD Mohim, Salohidin, Daria, John Wedge is here. When I scroll back, I see Freddie Wolf, Lolly Lolly, No That is here. Key Park. Who else is here? John Wedge is here. Another John is here. John Aglok. And Mumin Mirza. Yeah, that's a cool name. So hello to all of you. Hi to Kate, Danny G2, and Gabriella as well. Good to see some familiar faces and some new faces. If you're new, what is this? This is a live English lesson. I will teach the lesson for 10 minutes. I will answer questions for 10 minutes. I will teach some more for 10 minutes, and then I'll answer questions and kind of flip back and forth. If you have a question, please use the link in the chat. And here's the challenging part. Please make sure the question is on the topic, okay? So it's important that the question is about the lesson. If it's not, I will skip it. So sorry about that. I like to keep these lessons on track. So if you have a question, go ahead and ask it in using that form, okay? Click the link, use that form to ask it. Should we get started? I think so. I think we should get started. Here we go. Blah. It's kind of a funny word, and this is an informal word. By the way, every word I'm teaching you today can go in the sentence starting with I feel. So I feel blah. I don't actually feel blah, but when you feel blah, it means you don't have a lot of energy. It means you don't feel like doing something. It means you probably just want to sit at home. So it can mean that you physically are tired and don't have a lot of energy, but you're also mentally tired. So sometimes after a long week at work on a Friday night, I feel blah. I don't feel energetic. I don't want to go out and see a movie. I just want to sit on my couch and drink tea and watch a basketball game or something because I feel blah. So low energy, not energetic, and then mentally you don't feel like doing things. Lethargic. Now, this is a very similar term to feeling blah. When you feel lethargic, it also means you don't have a lot of energy. If you stay up late, sometimes the next day you feel lethargic. Now, this isn't lazy. Lazy means you don't want to do work. Lethargic means you're literally tired and you don't have enough energy or stamina to do the work you're supposed to do or to do what you're supposed to be doing that day. Should I say it a couple more times? Lethargic. It has the TH in it, makes it a little hard to pronounce for people learning English, but lethargic. Oh, I'm feeling lethargic. You might also feel lethargic just before you get sick. Sometimes you don't feel right. Something's wrong and you feel lethargic. And then the next day you have a sore throat or a fever. So it sometimes can be how you feel before you get sick. Inept. So you can see this person is trying to put a nail into whatever surface this is using the hammer backwards. So this person would probably say, I feel inept. I'll say it again, inept. I feel inept. When you feel inept, it means you don't know how to do the thing you're supposed to be doing. Sometimes you go to do something with a bunch of people. Maybe you're going to play basketball for the first time and they all know how to play basketball. You might feel inept because you don't know how to dribble the ball or shoot the ball. So when you feel inept, it means you don't know how to do something. And it also kind of means you think people can see that you don't know how to do it. Like, oh, I feel inept. When I first started teaching, I felt inept. Okay, when I first started teaching, I didn't feel like I knew what I was doing. I didn't feel like I was doing a good job that very first semester way back in 97 or 98. I don't remember. I felt inept. So you could also say inadequate would be another way to describe it. Down. When you feel down, I would say, I don't like to say it's the same as being depressed because I think depression is kind of a term a doctor would use. But when you feel down, it's like a minor depression. Like you're not super enthusiastic. There's another big word. You're not energetic. It's a little different than feeling blah. Like I would say you feel blah, and then stronger than blah is you're feeling down. Like you're kind of sad a little bit as well. And then even a stronger description would be depressed. So I feel down. Sorry, I feel blah, I feel down, I feel depressed. So this guy, he looks down. He doesn't look super happy. Maybe he has a lot of work to do. He looks a little bit sad and not super eager to do the work that he has to do that day. So he feels down. I feel empty inside. So this is an interesting one. This is a very dark emotion, a very sad emotion. The opposite would be to feel full of life. So sometimes when I'm doing these live streams, I feel full of life. Like I'm excited, I'm happy, I like doing it. But sometimes people might feel empty inside. Surprisingly, really wealthy celebrities sometimes aren't very happy. They have all the money in the world and they have fame. They're very famous, but they don't feel good about themselves. They're not happy about themselves and they might feel empty inside. So again, this is a very sad, dark emotion, but this, you would use it to describe the opposite of feeling super happy, the opposite of, like I feel very valuable when I do this. So empty inside. Invisible. So sometimes when you go to a social gathering, everyone else has fun, but no one talks to you. And then you would say, I feel invisible. By the way, I should talk about the past, present, and future. So you could say, I felt invisible. That's the past. I feel invisible, or I'm going to feel invisible if I go to that party. I picked this one because this guy at the front seemed a bit older than the other people. I don't have this myself, but I know sometimes when older people go to something where there's a lot of younger people, they feel invisible because the younger people talk to each other, but they don't talk to the older person. So you feel invisible. And by the way, invisible means no one can see you. Like some superheroes. Oh, here's a good one. When Frodo or Bilbo put on the ring in the Lord of the Rings, they were invisible. You literally couldn't see them. But we also use this to describe someone who feels like they're left out. That's the other way you could describe it. Fantastic. So I thought I should do a few positive emotions. I think I have a few in a row here. Yes, I feel fantastic. I feel great. I went for a run and afterwards I felt fantastic. Today the sun is shining and I feel great. So these are two very positive emotional states. I guess it can also be physical. Like after you do go for a good walk or a run, you usually feel fantastic. Like you feel really, really good. And so that's how you would describe it. If someone said, "How are you feeling today?" I would literally right now say, "I feel fantastic. I slept good. I have a lot of energy. I don't have to go to work early. I feel fantastic. I have a really nice day ahead of me." And then I feel great. This is often used after you're sick. So a few weeks ago I was sick, but now I feel great. You can also use this to describe how this person is feeling. Like, oh, I was outside. I had a cup of tea with a friend. Life is good. I feel great. So it's a very positive emotion, a very positive way of describing how you feel. Hey, let's do some questions. What is it? Yes, it's time for questions. I see people chatting away. I did want to check to make sure everything was working properly. I think it is. Okay, here we go. I have 4 questions. Let me get the first one on the screen. Did I do that right? I think I did. So Hosea says, "It's not a question. I just want to express my gratefulness for helping us out." So I would use this sentence: "I feel grateful." That's a great way to describe how Hosea is feeling right now. I feel grateful. Well, you're welcome. It's fun to do these lessons. I'm really looking forward to doing the Friday lessons going forward an hour later. I can get up a little bit later. I can sleep a little bit longer. You'll probably notice that I'm going to often say I feel fantastic or I feel great while I'm doing these lessons. Anyways, you're welcome, Hosea. Let's see. Zeravan, Bob's lesson was captivating. I'm going to switch that, captivating, because the last lesson you talked about health, food, and exercise. You know, I felt like that was just a very easy, simple lesson to make. I had wanted to talk about that for a bit because I know how I feel when I eat healthy and sleep good and then exercise. But the video is doing really well. So obviously people enjoyed the message. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have, what do I type in here? Do I type video? I can't remember. You can go on my channel later and you can find the lesson where I just encourage you to take care of yourself so that your English learning goes better. From Daniel, why when we have cold weather, we feel sad and down? So I don't usually disagree with my viewers, but I'm going to disagree with you a little bit, Daniel. I feel sad and down when there is no sun. I don't mind really cold weather. In fact, it's minus 16 degrees Celsius outside right now, but the sun is shining. So I enjoy a good, cold, sunny day. What makes me feel sad and down is if it's overcast for days in a row in the winter. So that means there's clouds in the sky, and I just don't enjoy that. It's not a very enjoyable time. So I start to feel a bit sad and a bit down. John Wedge says to know that I finished painting the whole house yesterday. I went to sleep at 4 a.m. last night and woke up at 7 a.m. today. I'm tired today. Yeah, so you could say I'm feeling tired. Hopefully you didn't feel inept. Hopefully you're good at painting, John. Hopefully that went well. Let's see. Kuzo, hello, Teacher Bob. I'm wondering, in order of level, is despairing, depressed, down. So I would say if you're feeling despair, that usually means you're very sad because you've lost something. If your house burns down or if someone in your family passes away, you would feel despair. It's the same as hopelessness. Depressed is usually used to talk about someone, in English now, more often someone who has gone to the doctor and the doctor has diagnosed them with depression. And either they've been asked to exercise or change their diet, or they might have medication to help with it. And then down to me is just a very mild version of, it's kind of sad and it's a little bit depressed. You're just not feeling super excited about life. Yeah, I'm going to skip the next one because it's not a very kind joke. So I'm going to leave that one. So DNK says, just checking if you feel like skipping my question because it's off topic. No, it's kind of a good question because it'll help me remind people to please ask questions that are on topic. Awesome. We're doing good today on that. John Wedge says, thanks, Bob. I'm fine. Just a little tired. Oh, yes. I think I have one or two words that might help you describe that coming up. Hafia says, I just say it's soup season when it's cold season. Yes. You know, when it's cold outside, the hotter the meal, the better. Same with drinks, coffee, tea, hot chocolate. When it's cold outside, it is really nice to have something hot to drink. A random Mexican says, hi, Bob, can you tell us about an interesting topic you heard a psychologist talk about or just a famous phrase regarding feelings? Thanks a lot. No, but I can tell you this. Money. There's a phrase about that money doesn't bring happiness. So they did a study, and that if you have enough money to pay all your bills, if you have enough money to eat, if you have enough money to do something fun 2 or 3 times a month, usually that helps you to be happy. And then having more money than that doesn't necessarily make you more happy. So when you don't have enough, obviously it's not very nice and you're sad or it's hard to live. But when you have enough to pay for everything and maybe a little bit for fun, a little bit of money for fun things and a little bit of money to save for the future, it helps you be happy. But if you are extremely rich, it doesn't guarantee you will be super, super happy. And in fact, I thought I saw Mode Eggs, if you scroll back, said having money can help a bit, but true, genuine happiness comes from inside. Yes. I think you're more likely to feel happy after a walk than after winning $1 million. No, that's not true. You would be very happy if you, I don't know. I'm going to stop talking about money. Crude says, what about feeling desperate? When you feel desperate, you have it's really let's say you have to make a car payment tomorrow and it's $500 and you only have $100, you're going to feel desperate. You're going to try and work a double shift at work. You're going to do whatever you can to be able to pay that car bill. So that's what desperate means. Like there's something you have to do and you don't know how to get ready for it. Strato says, Bob, please show words written. I do that. I intentionally only do the single word because I'm hoping people will take notes. And if you're talking about subtitles, I think they are working. Usually auto subtitles work when I'm doing this lesson. So Stratos, you could do that. Laura says, your videos help me a lot and I know I need to improve, but thanks. I am happy to help. Let me have a sip of water and let's get back to the lesson. I'm talking longer than I normally talk, so I'm not behind, but let's move a little quicker. Honored. If you say, I feel honored, it means that someone has asked you to do something that makes you feel like they like you. So when my friend asked me to be the best man at his wedding, I felt honored. I felt like it was a great honor. I felt like it meant he liked me, he trusted me, and he wanted me to stand up beside him when he married his wife. So I was honored. I felt honored. When you feel honored, it's a nice thing, okay? If someone asked you to speak at the next English class you're taking, just said, you know, you have an interesting life and an interesting story, we would like you to speak, you would feel honored. And you would feel nervous probably, but you would feel honored because the teacher picked you. So when you feel honored, you feel appreciated, you feel liked, you feel like the person trusts you to do something. Jittery. So this is something that happens. It's a physical reaction, usually after you drink too much coffee. After you have too much caffeine, you might feel jittery. It's a state of being where you have lots of energy. It's not the same as shivering. Like if I'm cold, I'm like, ooh. But if I'm jittery, I'm like, I have, sorry, that looked really funny on the screen. If you have a lot of energy from the caffeine, I'm just watching. Yeah, that's definitely jittery, how I just acted it out. Caffeine makes you very alert and you feel jittery. If I had 3 cups of coffee, I would feel jittery. I'd be like, I would want to run everywhere instead of walk. And that would just be kind of funny. Knackered. We do not use this word in Canada very often, but I hear this word quite often when I watch British television. I feel knackered means you're incredibly tired, usually at the end of the workday. Someone might say, oh, that was a long shift at work. I feel knackered. I am extremely tired. I'm knackered. Lucky. Sometimes you feel lucky because you actually were lucky. If you had a lottery ticket and you won $1 million, you would say, I feel lucky, like I won the lottery. But we also use this word to talk about just being happy about something in life. My boss gave me a raise. I feel really lucky. No one else got a raise. Or let me see another example. I was in school and I wrote a test and I feel lucky because I got 90% on the test and I didn't study. So it just means you're feeling happy about a positive situation and you feel lucky. I felt lucky the other day because I drove to school and it was really slippery out and I still got to school on time. So the roads were slippery. So I felt lucky. I should have been late, but I got to school on time. Nauseous. Some people say this word differently, but I say nauseous. This is how you feel as you're getting sick, or maybe after you eat food that doesn't agree with you. That's what we say when, like, if you eat food that's bad, you might feel nauseous afterwards. It means that you might throw up. You might actually get physically sick. I know 2.5, 3 weeks ago, Jen was like, I'm feeling nauseous. And I'm like, I don't feel very good either. And then we got really, really sick. We had the stomach flu. It was not very, very nice. But yes, it's not fun when you feel nauseous. You can also feel nauseous if you smell something that you don't like the smell. It can make you feel nauseous. And maybe a little bit like if you go on a roller coaster, you might feel nauseous afterwards. Like you might feel like you need to throw up, that you need to vomit. I hate that word, by the way. I like saying throw up instead of to vomit. Vomit just has a really weird sound to it. It means when everything in your stomach comes out of your mouth. There we go. Now we all know. Overwhelmed. This is something that I think almost every human being on the planet has felt. I feel overwhelmed when the new school year starts. The first few days of school, I feel overwhelmed. What that means is there's too much work to do and I don't have enough time to do it. Sometimes Jen and I feel overwhelmed at market because there's so many customers. We can't take care of everyone fast enough. We feel overwhelmed. So anytime there's more work to do, and let me put it this way, when there's a lot of work and not enough time, you will feel overwhelmed. I'm sure all of you have felt that at some point in your life. It's not a very nice feeling. Okay, so here's an interesting one. By the way, I should mention that a lot of these words might be new for you, or used in a new way, but all of these are very common. I feel blah, I feel lethargic, I feel inept. All of those words are used all the time in English. These are not like strange words that only get used every once in a while. This is pretty common. So if you use the phrase, I feel off, it means you don't feel the way you normally feel. It usually means you're getting sick. Maybe you're going to get a headache. But if I said to Jen, I don't know what's wrong, I just feel off today, it means that I can't think as clearly as I normally think. Or maybe we're working out in the field and we're lifting heavy things and it's really hard. I might just say, I feel off, like I don't feel as strong as I normally do, or I can't think as clearly as I normally do. So you could say, I don't feel normal, but that doesn't quite describe it as well. If you say, I feel off, it usually means you're probably going to be sick or something's wrong. Something's not working right with your brain or your body. Queasy, this is the same as nauseous. When you feel queasy, something's wrong down in your stomach and something bad is going to happen. I think I would use queasy more to refer to, I'm trying to think, like if I see something, if I'm walking along the road, sorry, this is going to be kind of gross. If I'm walking along the road and there's a dead animal on the road, I feel queasy. I don't look at it. I don't want to see that. If someone else throws up, I feel queasy. Even if I'm not sick, the smell of someone being sick close to me makes me feel queasy, and then I almost get sick. So I think that you've probably experienced this before where, maybe, here's a good one. If you have old food in the fridge and you lift the lid and you smell and you're like, whoa, it might make you feel queasy. Relieved. So this person is doing, some people think these are either the thank you hands, thank you so much, or prayer hands, but this person is relieved. You are relieved when something ends up going well that maybe you thought was going to go badly. I studied for chapter 3 and then I wrote the test and the test was on chapter 3. I was so relieved. Or I hurt my arm and I thought it was broken. I went to the hospital and it's just a bruise. I was so relieved. I feel relieved because I don't have to wear a cast. So it usually means you think something is going to go badly, but then it goes well and then you feel relieved. It's a great feeling for sure. Useless. So this is the same basically as feeling inept. The best picture I could come up with for the phrase I feel useless is sometimes when Jen and I buy furniture, should I name the store? From IKEA. Sometimes I feel useless when I'm trying to put it together. Sometimes there's not enough screws or there's too many screws, or I'm pretty good at building stuff, but sometimes I feel useless when I try to put together furniture. So when you feel useless, it means you don't have the skills you need to do what you want to do. I've heard English learners say, when I speak English, I sometimes feel useless. Like I don't know enough, but I would use it more for a skill, like a physical skill. Like when I try to build something out of wood, I feel useless because I'm not very good at it. Weird is similar to off. So weird has a lot of meanings. Like if you say that guy is weird, it might mean that he doesn't dress the same as other people and maybe his hair is really long and it just, I don't know, you might say, oh, that guy looks weird. It's an insult. But if you say, I feel weird, it means you're not feeling well. The last time I heard someone say this was at a long distance running event. A runner finished the race and the runner did not look very good after running 7 or 8 kilometers. And they said, I feel weird. So very quickly they got that person some water and some Gatorade, because if you say, I feel weird, it usually means maybe you're going to be sick. Maybe you're going to, I think this guy was going to pass out, like become unconscious, but it certainly means you're physically not feeling normal. Like another example might be if you, I don't usually talk too much about it, but if you drink too much, or if you, you can just say you feel weird. It means you don't feel normal. If you feel weird, you don't feel normal. Inadequate. I tried to find a picture of a parent who looks tired and kids who are hyper. This is, I think, a good picture. Parents often feel inadequate. When you feel inadequate, it means you don't know what to do in the situation you're in. Parents are always learning how to be good parents while they're parenting. It's kind of a weird situation, and you often feel inadequate, especially if one of your kids has a big problem in their life. You might feel inadequate. You don't know how to help them. So it's similar to inept and useless, but it kind of has like a feeling of, you should know how to do it, but you just feel inadequate. Jen and I think have done a fairly good job as parents, but there have been many times where we felt inadequate, where we didn't know what to do in order to help our kids in whatever situation they were in. Free. So here's a couple of retired people. If you say, I feel free, it's something you can use to describe a day off, a weekend, retirement. It means you have no obligations. So when you feel free, you are having a very nice life. You are enjoying things. So in the summer, I feel free. When I visit Brent in the summer, we feel free because as teachers, we do not work in the summer. So we feel very, very free. And it's nice to be able to enjoy life at that time. Not that work is bad, but it is nice to feel free once in a while. Hey, let's do some questions and let's do members only chat. It's good to see over 300 people here watching this, but if you are wondering what's going on, I will tell you, it is members only chat time. That means for 10 minutes, I will answer questions from the queue and from the chat. I see that my members are chatting away down there, which is very, very cool. I like to hear from you. Ruslan's here, very cool. Niraz is here as well. There was something someone wrote earlier I wanted to, Mode says, I feel off is such a natural sounding phrase. Yes. And then Hafia says, I feel on is wrong. Yeah, there is no phrase. What would be the, I feel off? And then the opposite would be, I feel great. Yeah, that would be the opposite of it. Okay, so let me get a question on the screen. And let's see. Let's get this one on the screen. And then I will jump down to questions in the chat from Malik. Sir, how will we react to someone when we feel uncomfortable during study time? Yeah, when you feel uncomfortable, it means you don't like the place where you are or physically don't enjoy where you're sitting or standing. So when you feel uncomfortable, like when I go to a teacher's convention and I'm in a room with people I don't know, I feel kind of uncomfortable. I don't know who they are or what their names are. But how do you react? I don't know. For me as a teacher, I get to know my students' names quickly so they feel more comfortable in my class. From the chat, there's some chat going on. Brent said, hey, Brent, good to see you. I'm a big fan of summer. I definitely feel free. Yes, there is a certain sense of freedom that comes with summer. No, that says, you have any plans for your weekend, Bob, or are you just relaxing a bit from the exam week? So my plan is to actually work for the entire weekend. So this past week, students wrote exams, and including today. And so my job this weekend, I have a lot of stuff I still need to look at and grade. From my one class, there's a large final project. So I have to actually finish grading that and just finalize grades and write comments on report cards and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just working right through the weekend. It's the way it goes sometimes. Members only mode. Let's see. People saying hi to Brent. Nice to see. Someone is ready and steady for being a dad. Yeah, John Wedge has a baby coming in a few months, I think, if I'm remembering correctly. Freddie, Bob, you began the lesson with how you feel. What's the difference between how do you feel? Is the first one more like an affirmation whereas the second one is more a question? Yeah. When you talk about how you feel, you're actually talking about how you feel. Like, oh, I feel great. I feel off. I feel fantastic. When someone says, how do you feel? It's more like sometimes it can be their opinion. Like I could say, so we're starting on a new project. How do you feel about that? And it might, yeah, that works. Yeah, both are asking for literally how you feel. Like if I say, how you doing? That's just hello. If I say, how you feeling? I'm asking for your opinion. Like I actually do want it. Lolly says the weather is gloomy today. I feel a little bit under the weather. Nice use of a phrase. Yeah, it is kind of gloomy for you, maybe. For us, bright and sunny. Know that. Speaking of exam week, were you a supervisor again this year? Yeah, we all take turns. Actually supervised hallways. That was my job. Got my steps in. 3 weeks. 3 weeks, says John Wedge, and the baby will pop up. Brent says that's awesome. Oh yeah, you should. Brent has put out some good lessons on what's happening in America. So Hafias is saying, hey Brent, so many things have happened over there since the inauguration. Yeah, America is a busy country right now. Lots of declarations and proclamations and democracy at work. That's what I would say. But yeah, head over to Brent's channel, American English with Brent, for more information on the news. Brent's doing a great job over there with keeping people up to speed. Mode says, don't get me wrong, Mr. Bob, but I don't think it's up to the parents to say whether they did a good job. It's up to the children. Yes. But in some cases, children are ungrateful. Parenting is tricky. It is tricky, but I would say Jen and I have 97% enjoyed it. That's what I would say. It can be really hard sometimes, but for the most part. John Wedge is telling Hafiez we're looking forward to knowing her. Yes. Key Park. Hi, Bob. How did you feel when you saw your first kid? When I saw my first kid, I think you would think I was like excited and ecstatic and all that kind of stuff. But I think it was just like overwhelming. Like all of a sudden there was this baby and we had to take care of it. And it's being at the hospital and witnessing a birth is an overwhelming experience. That's what I would say. Let's see here. Just a sec. I just want to check something here. I skipped Know That's first question in the actual chat. Or not in the chat, in the actual form. And I'm just reminded of that. I'm going to put it in. Just give me a sec here. From Know That. I'll put that down there and I'll get to it in a sec. Okay. Sorry about that. Know That. I must have clicked too much. That's awesome. Don't get me wrong. Okay. Know That. I recently came across the phrase to get one's feet wet during my studies, Bob. Could you explain the meaning of it and give some examples? Thanks a lot. So if you're starting something new, you just need to get your feet wet before you become experienced at something. So if I was starting to learn tennis, I could say, I'm a little nervous. I have my first game tonight, but I just need to get my feet wet and then start practicing a lot. And soon I will be good at it. To get your feet wet. It means to begin doing something new, an activity or job in a brief and simple way in order to become more familiar with it. I always say to people, just schedule an English conversation with someone online. You need to get your feet wet. You need to do it so that you can feel that you're going to get good at it, I guess. Brent says things are moving quickly for sure. Yes. Freddie Wolf says dad joke. There are 3 dog puppies, Oscar, Walter, Friday. What is their mother's name? The clue is there's no question mark. What is their mother's name? Oh, what? Sorry, yes. The mother's name is what? Okay, and then we're jumping back in time from Know That. Bob, I guess there's some things in your life that you're proud of, but can you think of one off the top of your head that you're particularly proud of? Thanks, Bob. So I feel proud. That's a way to describe yourself. I would say, besides like I'm proud of my kids, I'm proud of Jen running a business. I'm proud when my kids do things. What I'm proud of myself for is I would just say this YouTube channel, this kind of came unexpectedly for me, and it shifted my life. I was a full-time teacher. Now I work 70%, and I'm able to do this YouTube thing, and it's quite enjoyable. And I'm going to keep doing it for quite a while. So I'm very proud of the fact that I continue to make English lessons for all of you, and I'm happy that you all watch them. Hockey says, I guess the USA is busy recently to make a decision about invading Canada. Yeah, we'll see what comes of that. I don't know if that's going to be the direction they go. There's something in English called bluster and bluffing. And I think there's a lot of bluster and bluffing happening right now, so that when our countries actually get together to talk about trade, how would I say this? You know how before a sports game, there's a little bit of trash talk? I think we're seeing some trash talk right now. But when the people actually get down to working on this, I'm sure we'll come up with agreements that benefit both countries. There's no way we can't do that. But yeah, there's a lot of bluster and bluffing right now. Maybe more bluster. You'll have to look that up maybe. John says, John Wedge, hey Bob, yes, only 3 weeks and the baby's here. I'll send you some pictures soon. From now on, you have permission to show the picture here if you want, of course. Oh, thank you. Don't forget to give a thumbs up, says John Wedge. Thanks for that. Hafia says, I feel ecstatic that Severance Season 2 is finally coming out. I watched Season 1 of that, and it's kind of a strange show. I'm not sure I liked it. I think I did. I'm not sure I'm going to watch Season 2. Bluster and bluffing like the Gulf of Mexico renaming, maybe. But hey, behind every bluster and bluff, there might be a little bit of truth. Bob may have to change his name to Bob the American, Canada to become the 51st state. Welcome. I was actually wondering if maybe Maine should join Canada. Maybe instead of Canada joining the States, because honestly, when I visited Brent in Maine, those were the most Canadian Americans I've ever seen. I think because Maine is north, they have winter. A lot of the same people that moved to Canada hundreds of years ago moved to Maine. I would say if Maine wants to come up to Canada, I would go with free healthcare, Brent, free healthcare. But yeah, I really appreciated the people of Maine. Brent and Brent's family were wonderful. No, that says, no problem, Bob. Thanks for your answer. Ralph, hi everyone. A bit late, and I just found out that my name is also a verb. Very kind. I feel honored. So yes, to throw up or to vomit, you could also use the word Ralph. Like he Ralphed all over the car would mean, I think you get the point. It's informal, a little bit of slang maybe. Okay, I need to get back on track here and finish this lesson. Give me a second here to turn off members only chat. And we will get back to the real lesson. Let me just check one thing here. Yeah, free healthcare. It's not really free. Like when we compared what we pay in taxes, I pay a lot more. So in the end, is it really free? I don't know. It's hard to say. Okay, I didn't get a lot of questions from the forum, but I will get back to that after we do the actual lesson. So let me finish the lesson and then we will get back. Awful. If you say, I feel awful, like if a person, well, let me not say that yet. If you say, I feel awful, it usually means you're sick. How you doing? Oh, I have a bad cold. I feel awful. My nose is stuffed up. My throat is sore. I'm coughing all the time. I feel awful. So when you feel awful, it simply means you feel sick. If I call in sick to work and the next day, my mom calls me and says, oh, sorry, this story isn't making sense. If I tell my mom I'm sick and she calls me 2 days later and I'm still sick, I'm just going to say, oh, I feel awful. I'm not getting better. Not a nice feeling at all. Tense. If you say, I feel tense, it means you're nervous about something. Here's a big word. It means you're apprehensive about something. It means you're not excited about something. Anytime you have to talk in front of a large group of people, you will probably feel tense. So, and you can even be physically tense. Like this is relaxed. You know, if I'm driving in my car, I'm really relaxed. But if I'm like like this, like I'm actually almost flexing my muscles and I'm really tense, it means I'm nervous. It means I'm not excited about what I'm going to do or what I'm doing. The first live stream I ever did, I felt tense because I didn't know how it worked. I didn't know if anyone would watch it. I can't remember the stats on that one, but I think there were only 2 people there. It was kind of funny. It was fun though. Hopeful. So when you feel hopeful, you are excited and happy about something that is going to happen. So if you're going to have a baby, you're hopeful. If you're going to go on a trip, you're hopeful that you're going to have fun. It basically means that you are excited about the future. If your favorite team is playing in the playoffs, you are hopeful. You hope that they will win. You will feel hopeful. Grateful. So when someone does something for you and it helps you, you usually feel grateful. When you're grateful, you will say thank you to that person. Many of you are grateful for these lessons. So I make lessons, and in the comments, I regularly see people saying, thank you. You are grateful. So I did something you liked, and to show that you are grateful, you say thank you. So, and then I say you're welcome. I say you're welcome a lot in the comments because there are a lot of thank yous. So optimistic. This is similar to hopeful. It means that you are thinking that something will go well. This morning, I was planning to do this live stream and I was optimistic that the internet would work well. Our internet has been working very well for the last couple of weeks. 2 weeks ago, the internet stopped working during the English lesson. But this morning I was optimistic. I didn't think I was going to have any problems, and knock on wood, we haven't had any problems. I was very optimistic. Energized. I have not done this. I am curious to know if any of you have done this. Let me know in the comments or chat. But this is an ice bath. It's a tub filled with cold water and ice cubes, and you sit in it for 1 or 2 minutes. And afterwards, you're supposed to feel energized. It's supposed to make you feel like you can do anything. I'm not sure I could do this. Jen would love to try this. She would love to try an ice bath to see if it will make her feel energized. So we'll see. Someday, maybe we'll try it. Maybe Jen will try it. I'm not sure I will, but there are many things that will make you feel energized. A good night's sleep will make you feel energized. A nap, like sleeping for 10 minutes, might make you feel energized. It just means you have a lot of energy and you're ready to do anything. Kids are sometimes hyper. Sometimes I feel hyper even as an adult. Sometimes before you do something fun, you feel a little bit hyper. I think the last time I felt hyper was, where did I go? I went to an event with my colleagues where we played games. It was a social event for me and my colleagues. And I was feeling hyper, like I was excited, I was energetic, I was happy. But normally we usually use this word to describe kids, like, those kids were running around. They were so hyper. They were loud and running around. They were hyper. They were feeling hyper. I feel hyper. I feel hyper right now a little bit, just a little bit. Awake. This person is drinking a cup of coffee. After I drink coffee, I feel awake. Like I feel awake. I feel like I do not need to sleep at all. Caffeine has an incredible effect on me. It makes me feel awake. After a good night's sleep, you might say, I feel so awake. And then you might also say you feel alive. If I ever jumped out of an airplane with a parachute, when I landed, I would probably say, I feel alive. Like sometimes you feel blah and lethargic, and sometimes you feel down. But when you do something like this, and when your adrenaline is flowing, you feel alive. After I went ziplining, I certainly felt alive. That was an incredible experience. I probably would say this. I felt energized. I was tense before the ziplining, but when I was done, I felt alive. Again, past tense there, I felt alive. And motivated. If you run long distances, you are very motivated. When you're motivated, it means You want to do something and you do something. You plan to do it and you do it. My biggest wish for English learners is that they stay motivated. I hope that every Monday morning you wake up and say, I feel motivated. It means you want to learn English. Like if you say, I feel motivated to learn English, it means you want to learn English. You have energy, you're excited, it's fun, you look forward to it, you are excited and motivated. It's a good feeling. I'm not motivated right now to grade student work, but I have a pile of it to look at. So I'll have to do something so I feel motivated. So I want to do it. Hey, that was the last one. I'm going to answer questions for about 10 minutes. Let me just check something for a moment. After I said the internet was working great, then I did get an error on the screen, but that went away and everything seems to be working well still. So let's do, let me answer questions. Hey, Sid says, first time I joined you're live. Very nice to see you. And Zhang says, really nice seeing you, Bob. Good to have you here. Julia says, I feel hyper when I'm full of beans and alive and kicking. Yes. Okay, let me get questions on the screen. And we'll do that for about 5-10 minutes and wrap this up. Ivan. Hi, Bob. Thank you. My question is, are you a weather sensitive person or not? Have a nice day. That depends. Like, there's weather I don't like. The two kinds of weather I don't like are extremely hot and humid, or what we call muggy weather. If it's 34 degrees, I do not like that. It puts me in a bad mood. Or long days in a row with no sun in the winter. I do not like that. Hey, thanks for the super chat, Hafiz. Hafiz says, I feel grateful learning from Bob's lessons. Good to have you here. And thank you for the super chat. I'm glad that you are enjoying the lessons. Let's see here. I was going to look at, there was another thing in the chat. John Wedge, I'm awake and alive right now because of a lot of cups of coffee. That does happen. From Unahi, hi, Mr. Bob. Which one do we use in formal language, inept or incompetent? Thank you. So you would use both. Both work like in regular informal English or in a very formal conversation. Like your boss might say, we're letting you go because when you run the big machine, you make too many mistakes. You are inept. I don't know if he would say that. It sounds insulting. Yeah, maybe not formally, but you would in a conversation say, you need to fire Joe. He's incompetent. He's not able to do his job well. I need some water. I think if you're talking about a skill, you would say inept. Like Joe is running that machine and he's inept. Okay, he's not good at running it. In general, though, he's incompetent. He's not good at a lot of stuff. Let's see here. From Harry the Frog, do you think stress is also a feeling? Yes. If you say, I feel tense, I feel stressed, I'm stressed out, those are all similar feelings. Like if you said, Bob, you have to talk in front of 3,000 people tomorrow, and you have to stand on a stage, I would feel stressed. That would definitely be the feeling. I would be worried and stressed and tense and a whole lot of other things. Peter says, hi, Mr. Wise Man. How are you today? Your live stream is unique. My question is, when I feel set back, how to overcome the setback that I had. Thanks. Have a nice day. So I fixed a few things there. Yeah, when you feel like you're getting behind, when you feel like you've had a setback. So what that would mean is this. Let's say you study English every day, 6 days a week for 7 months, and then you get sick and you don't study for 3 weeks. That's a setback. Like maybe you have a test and that's a setback. So when you start to feel better, you have to do what's called double down. You have to double down and study more. That's how I would say. The way you overcome a setback is once you've gotten past it, you need to double down. You need to work harder. From Bridget, when you become the captain of a football team, you feel honored because you are voted on by your teammates. Yes. If my school, if the teachers voted for me to be teacher of the year, I would feel honored. Yeah, that's another great example, Bridget. Let's see here. From Mikhailo. Hello, dear Teacher Bob. If I would ask you for 3 best things that you do when you feel upset or disappointed to overcome it, what would it be? With kind regards. So here's a couple things. If I'm behind at work, I will go to work for a long day and I will get all of the work done, and that helps me feel better. If I'm upset about something, I tend to walk a lot. So if someone in my family passed away, or if I had to think about something a lot, I would walk a lot. That would be probably a good thing. And then I talk to Jen. If I'm upset or disappointed, Jen and I are often talking to each other about that. And then maybe even go for a long drive. Have you ever done that? Like when you go for a long drive, how it can really help you think through things. So teacher of the century, says Mode. Yeah, that I would feel honored if I won that. Okay, let me get to the next question. From Danilo. Hi, Mr. Bob. What is the difference between miss and longing? So when you miss someone, it means they're not around and you don't see them, and you wish they were living close to you again or living with you or whatever the arrangement was. Longing, though, is like a deeper emotion. Like it almost has like a romantic element. Like when Jen and I were dating, we lived apart. We lived in different cities for 6 months. And then I was always longing to be with Jen. Okay. So I missed her, but the stronger emotion would be I was really longing to be with her. Let's see here. Not sure if I have to give Beige Blur a timeout. Let's do it anyways. 5 minutes. There we go. Sometimes people spam the chat. And then let's see. Hi, if I want to say that I'm not sure. Hi, sir. If I want to say that I'm not sure, what do I say? You say I'm not sure. That's the best way to say you're not sure. From Mumin Mirza, what does feel under the weather mean? I usually use this to describe that feeling where you think you might be getting sick or you're actually sick. It can be used for both. I generally use it, though, if I say to someone, you know what? My nose is a little bit stuffed up. Like I'm not sick, but I just feel under the weather. I don't have the normal amount of energy. And so I would say it means you're getting sick or you are sick. Yeah. To feel under the weather. From Ali, what does this attitude? What does attitude mean? It's how you approach something. The best way to describe it is if you have a good attitude or a positive attitude or a bad attitude. So if someone says to me, I have to work every day. If you have a good attitude, or I have to walk to work every day. If you have a good attitude, you think, well, I'm getting exercise as I go to work. If you have a bad attitude, you could say, I'm just annoyed that I don't have a car. So that's what attitude. Let's see. So Elena says, may I use the word inadequate, describing a person meaning that he is insane, ready for some crime accidents and so on? No, I wouldn't say that. So insane is not a word we use a lot all the time, but I think legally you can claim that you did a crime because of insanity. It means you weren't right in your head, I guess would be a good description. But I wouldn't use inadequate for that. Inadequate usually means you're trying to do something and you don't have all the knowledge and skills to do it. Let's see here, off topic, but Tanu says, what do you do for a living, like jobs? I am a teacher. I am a farmer's assistant. That's how I describe it. Well, I'm a farmer. I help Jen farm. But that would be what my jobs are. Eva, haha, in Poland, we knock on unpainted wood for good luck. What else do you do for good luck? So knock on wood is something we sometimes say, like, oh, I hope that goes well, knock on wood. And then you might actually knock on wood. But I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know. Let's go to the last question from Yuri. Hello, sir. I've recently heard the word frenzied. What exactly does it mean and how often do you as a native speaker here use it? Thank you. So I hear the word frenzy more than frenzied. Like if someone's in a frenzy, it means that here's a good example. Let's say there's a popular toy at Christmas that every child wants, and a store only has 100 of them, and there are 500 parents who want to buy it. When the store opens, there will be a frenzied rush. So you can just picture it. Like a frenzy is like a whole bunch of people trying to get past each other, and they all want to buy the same toy. Let's get the official. A state or period of uncontrolled excitement and wild behavior. So there you go. Frenzied. Yes. Let me check if there's one more question that popped up. No, there is not. It is 9:29. By the way, going forward, what's nice is this lesson will be an hour later, but it will also be a full hour. So hopefully you are able to make it. For almost a year, I've been doing this lesson an hour earlier, and it's been about 45 to 50 minutes because I had to go to work, but I am now working afternoons. My schedule is shifting, so I have a full hour to spend with you. So bring your questions next week, and I will do my best to answer them. Mode says to me, sorry, my internet went down for a bit. What was the warning function again? Beige Blur has been spamming for a few weeks in a row. Yeah, I just did a 5-minute timeout, but I might do a full, we'll see how it goes. I'll keep an eye out on that. We'll see. Just reading the chat. Freddie Wolf says, Bob, have you ever been astonished by a student during class in your school in the way he or she mastered the topic you taught almost as well as you? Yes. So kind of in my head, I have a list of top 10 students of all time. And I just had one a few years ago where he actually knew more than me in terms of computer programming, I think by the end of the semester. That's pretty cool. It's really cool when you see senior level students go above and beyond. Know that says, thanks for the great lesson and your time, Bob. As always, it was awesome hanging around with you. I wish you and your family a wonderful day and weekend. Kind regards to your family as well. Same to you. Know that. I hope everything's going well for you over there. And I'm going to start saying bye. Nightbot cave mode, a warning. Null, null, null. Yeah, I got to figure out that programming at some point in time. Okay, this lesson, the lesson will come out in a shorter version. So I will edit this lesson down to be more compact. I will remove all of the viewer questions, and it will be a pure English lesson, and you will be able to rewatch it. You should rewatch it, and it will help you remember everything that I talked about. Remember, every word I taught you today can be used in the sentence, I feel blah, I feel weird, I feel lucky, I feel nauseous. Past tense, I felt down, I felt awful. Present tense, I'm going to feel tense, I'm going to feel grateful. I'm just laughing because I said present tense and then I used tense in a different way as an example. But anyways, rewatch that shorter version. It is good to do. You can just listen to it in the background while you ride the bus or cook some food. Just a good strategy. Tuesday's lesson, it's going to be kind of fun. I did a search online for best book for learning English, and I ordered it, and it's coming today, and I'm going to tell you whether it's a good book for learning English or not. So I just thought I should do a search for the best book for learning English, make a little lesson on it. So that's coming out Tuesday. I think you will enjoy it. And thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to say bye to Mode Eggs, Hafiez, Know That, Lolly Lolly, Ralph, Unabi, Robbie, Key Park, Sid, Ivan, Wilma. I think that's everybody. I think I'm just going to go. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a good day. Bye. Have a good weekend. Will I be this energetic and hyper every Friday? Probably not. But today was a good day. This was fun. The extra 45 minutes of sleep was very, very welcome. So anyways, bye. Oh, Unsel's here. Bye, Unsel. Bye, hockey. Beige Blur, make sure you don't spam or you're going to risk getting banned or kicked permanently. Bye, Brent. Have a good week. Brent doesn't have semesters, I don't think. Semesters are amazing, Brent. Maybe you do. I can't remember. I'll have to ask you about that.